everyone, this is Tony from Our Homestead Skills. Starting to get used to it. Anyway, welcome everyone. So glad that you're all with me here. And this is a holiday weekend for Canadians. It is referred to as the Victoria Day holiday or the May 2-4 weekend. Obviously it isn't May 2-4 yet, but it seems to be fairly early this year. Sometimes it falls on the 21st, it falls on different times. I think Mark tells me that it is the first weekend before the 24th of May. So, or the weekend just before the 24th of May. So this would be this weekend here. Anyway, a lot of people are preparing to do a lot of activities, to get out and about, to enjoy the weather, and apparently we are going to have mixed weather. But from what I can tell from the trees, they've all budded out, they've leafed out. They're not full, they're still young, fresh leaves. Yeah, spring is here. There's no doubt about it. It is getting warmer, and I understand we're going to have a mix of almost summer-like weather and then back into spring-like weather by the end of the weekend. So it's going to be a little bit unusual, but the weather is like that. Anyway, Mark and I have been talking for a little while, and we are both prepared to make a trip down south again. At this point in time, I've gone to the garden. I've prepared it as much as I can before I plant, but it's a little bit too early to plant. I want to wait till the end of May before I plant. So probably when we get back, that's when I'll be planting, and it'll give my little tomato seedlings a little more opportunity to grow a little bit larger. Those are the ones I started from seed. They are the traditional ones that I plant, little grape tomatoes. I may plant a few other ones. I'm not going to do 100 tomato plants this year. It's just not in the cards for me. But yeah, my lavender is doing phenomenal. I will be planting some beans. I have a whole bunch of bean seeds. I didn't get a chance to plant garlic here. I may do that down south in the fall, but probably not this time around. So we've decided that, well, we had to leave the south when we did because we had commitments here that we had to meet. And there were a few things that we left undone that we want to get back and do, and before we lock it up for a while. So there are, as I said, there are just a few things that we want to make sure that are in place, and the property is safe and secure while we're not there. So this trip is to partially do that, partially get away from here. We're both bored again. Mark especially. I mean, I find things to keep myself occupied, but fishing isn't quite ready yet here, so Mark's pretty much bored, and he's more than willing to get back down south and work very hard if he has to. So that's fine. It's all good. So at this point, I'm doing all the prep, getting all the laundry done, cleaning up the whole place. One thing I don't like to do is come back to a dirty place. So make sure that there's the fridge is not full of food. Make sure that the ice is done for. We always take a bucket of ice water down with us so that we have water while we're traveling. And so there's all these little chores that I have to make sure that I get done. And I also packed just a little, one of those milk crates full of a few odds and ends. I've packed a butter dish that I bought. I've packed this barbecue set that Mark's had kicking around here that somebody gave him as a gift, which we've never used up here, so that's going down there. A set of a 4-place setting of my blue willow is going to go down there. So what else? Oh yes, and another cast iron Dutch oven. And shocked me that the price of these things. I looked up the same one that I'm taking down there, and they sell that particular brand. It's an unusual brand. I don't remember the name offhand, but it is sells through Canadian Tire. and the price was $85, and like, whoa, cast iron has gone through the roof. And while we were at Bass Pro the other day, Mark and I went to Bass Pro. He was looking for a fishing lure, and it's in this big mall that I wanted to stop by another shop to see something there. But obviously I always look at the cast iron in Bass Pro when we're there. And I could not believe that the loaf pans, you know, the loaf pans, and I have 4 of them, $50 a piece. Wow. I think the last one I purchased right from the Lodge factory in the room where they have seconds, and I don't think I paid more than $12 for it. We may have to make another trip there, because that Lodge factory does have this room full of seconds that, to my mind, are no different and no worse than the firsts that I've seen up here. So I mean, I look at it and I go, why is this considered a second? But anyway, yeah, I was shocked at this loaf pan, and yeah, I must have quite the value in cast iron these days. And I still look for it in the thrift stores, but it's gotten to the point where I don't just buy anything that I see anymore, because I do have so much of it. But even down south, I did look around, and all I saw was Lodge products, which you'd expect. But you know what, I haven't gone down there that often, so I didn't see a lot of things that would interest me. Now, even up here, it's always hit and miss. It's not as though you go to a thrift store and you're always going to find something real nice. No, you could go 10 times and never find anything that you want. But it's just that I've been buying these pieces probably for well over 2 to 3 years now, so I have quite the collection here, and quite the value, I guess, that I've managed to accumulate. So that's all good. Anyway, we are Alabama bound, and that is good. And we will probably be leaving tomorrow or the next day. So I will be putting out a new video specific for our Alabama homestead that will be new to that channel. It will not be a repeat of something that I've had in my regular channel, although I'll put something different in each one, because I don't think that YouTube likes the fact that you put the same video on both channels. So from now on, even though I have moved a few over from our first trip down there, from now on, anything that goes into our Alabama homestead channel will be not the same videos as in our homestead channels. So they'll be slightly different or majorly different. I have no idea yet. But anyway, we're glad to be leaving. We're glad to be doing something useful, and I don't know how long we're going to stay. I think the intent is a couple of weeks, but it could be longer, so we are going to do the prep that if we're there over 30 days, just in case we end up saying that, oh no, you know, we're in trouble here, we need to get this done or we need to get that done, and there just isn't enough time in the first few weeks. It's not as though we have to come back to something here. I make sure that everything is looked after. We can lock the doors and walk away. That isn't the issue. The issue is that we want to spend we want to spend the cold months down south. So we don't want to chew up all our time in the summer. But because of that new rule that's gone into place, we want to make sure that we accommodate it should we decide to stay there for longer than 30 days. So we will be doing the appropriate paperwork and filing that, and hopefully having no issues. And I'll let you know how the border goes. I mean, this will be the first time that we cross the border with the new rules in place. And I've already filed for what they call a provisional I-94, which is your entrance-exit document if you're going to be there for more than 30 days. So you can file that ahead of time, 7 days ahead of time. I've already done that. And so when we get to the border, they'll know that we're coming. So hopefully that should make that process fairly quick and easy and painless, but we'll see how it goes. And you know, I've heard people say both ways that they've I've heard people complain that it's grief, but I think most of it is just belly aching. I don't know that anybody really has been hassled at the border on the American side, unless they, you know, there's been a lot of gripe and a lot of misery over, oh, so this and oh, so that. Anyway, don't want to get into it. You know, there is more than enough doom and gloom in every channel that I look at that right now I want to stay away from that, and I'm quite happy to for a change. Now, except, well, I can say that Canada's in for a world of hurt. If the way it's starting now is the way that it's going to continue over the next few years, 2 years, 1 year, 4 years, however long this current Prime Minister lasts. I don't know how many of you have already seen it. Most Canadians are probably aware, but apparently this man has no idea how Canadian politics works. And that's pretty scary when you are the Prime Minister of the country, when you are the top man. So he either thinks he is the president of the 51st state, or he thinks he's the King of Canada. Lord knows what he's doing. But he did something that he can't hide because it's all over the internet. He decided that he was going to do an executive order for a tax reduction. Now, he can't do an executive order because we don't have an executive in Canada. It's not the way it's done here. He's not our president. He's the Prime Minister. And anything that gets done like this is not through an executive order, but what they call an order in council. And it isn't done by the Prime Minister. It's done by the council members. So this is going to be really, I mean, that's a really sad thing for him, because what a blunder, what a blunder, what an idiot. And nobody stopped him. I mean, they filmed it all. They put it on television, I guess. They definitely put it on the internet. And I'm seeing many YouTube channels, or many channels saying, what is this fellow doing? Now, if this is the way he thinks he's going to run Canada, he's in for a big shock. So, interesting. As I say, either he or Canada or both are in for a world of hurt. The learning curve is, I mean, he's been Prime Minister for a few months now. Somebody should have told him, you cannot do an executive order. I think he's trying to be Trump Jr. Anyway, so much for that. I did want to make a note of that in case, I mean, if you think Biden was an idiot and Trudeau was an idiot, it doesn't look like this one's, he's not terribly smart either. Anyway, that's it for now. Probably the next video will be Alabama bound. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.